Gold jacket, green jacket, who gives you?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gold Jacket, Green Jacket podcast. We are here for episode number 48. My name is Christian Dragonetti, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friend and Australian PGA professional, Mr. Joel Mitchell. Joel, mate, how are you?
Very good, very good.
That's
Actually,
good.
a bit of lack of sleep, if I'm honest, but
Yeah, I know.
otherwise very good.
You've got
We've had a new family addition.
an addition to the family.
We've got a psycho little 7-week-old golden retriever.
Fat as
That's
fuck.
this little ball of fluff, excitement, and sleeping, and it just.
You know what she looks like? You know, like a little Christmas ham?
You know what she looks like?
Looks like a little.
You know those potato gems? Those
Yeah.
little frying. She looks like one of them
Yeah.
with a tail.
Yeah,
Like-
6 of them shoved together.
So we got her.
She's tiny and
we
she's
got her
adorable.
on the second. She's gorgeous. And yeah, it's like a kid before having a kid. It's like you got to cater everything, and everyone knows the drill with that. So
Absolutely.
bit of lack of sleep, trying to cater for her and make sure she doesn't eat the house. And sleeps properly, but she's actually very good. She's actually very good, considering what I've been warned about. With,
Of course.
with that sort of breed, especially. So
Of course.
Otherwise, Otherwise, I'm good. We'll jump into the recent rounds.
Yeah, let's get into recent rounds. Do you want to keep going?
Yeah, I'll keep going. My most recent round was at the time of recording was yesterday, on Sunday. So I played a pro-am down at Lonsdale Links.
Yep.
Funky little golf course. For those who haven't played, there's like the greens are like squared off, or some of them are square.
Yep.
Like the borders, and it's a short golf course, quite tight. Usually windy, very windy.
Yep.
But the defense is the greens. The greens are like I've never seen, like no golf course you've ever played. It's like they're like mini golf greens. It's outrageous. Like it's on a calm day and you're hitting it pretty good. It's very, very gettable. Like some of the scores yesterday were very low. Like I think 8 under 1.
Yeah, I saw some of the results. It was pretty ridiculous.
But it's there to do as well. It's like if you hit the ball into the right spots onto the green, you're fine.
Yeah.
You're generally fine. Otherwise, I didn't play too bad considering how shit I felt. Like it was a bit over 2-hour drive to get there at 5 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah, you teed off at 8 o'clock in the morning, shotgun start, and I was like, oh.
Went out there and tried to perform, and I actually played okay. Like I had a couple over, and I actually played okay. Just
Just wasn't your day.
just couldn't hold apart. Like
Yeah.
the greens were pretty. Like in terms of quality, were quite poor, but I mean they're catering for very, very hot weather. So
Yeah, of course.
but can't complain. Otherwise, I haven't been playing.
No.
I won over the festive season, and lack
Yeah, of course.
lack of fucking
Social life and golf life.
Yeah, because of the dog. So
No,
otherwise,
very good.
Not too bad.
And just carrying on with the Lonsdale Links Pro-Am, it seemed to be a pretty big event. Obviously, friends of the show, Mark and the Chasing Birdies Golf Society were out there.
Yep.
A couple of our followers on TikTok as well. 2 married golfers were out there as well.
Yep.
Shot us a message on Instagram the
Yep.
other day. Seemed like a big event.
Generally, those events are
Sponsored by BMW?
not. I wouldn't
well?
say huge events, but they're very well run. They're very, very strong, and they get a lot of good sponsors. So there was like some pretty cool BMW cars and bikes out there, and there was like this almost like a halfway hut off the second green, 7th tee box and 18th tee box. There was like this like a beer garden, kind of like the bird cage.
Yeah, cool.
There was like this beer garden. It was really cool. And it was a good day. It was nice and warm. It was pretty
Yes,
hot. Got
it was
to
pretty hot.
36, I think. It was pretty hot. Which didn't help because I'm trying to walk up a fairway going. Right. Anyway, they're very good events. They're very good events. Those it was a proper Aussie Tour Pro-Am, which is good. So I think I ended up coming like top. It was like top 28 out of 60 or whatever it was. So
Is what it is.
considering I didn't perform the best,
It's just another notch on the belt, mate, for you, I suppose. These Pro-Ams,
do?
you've entered in a bunch of events in the next little while, so hopefully we can get you into some of those. And
Yeah, well, I'm actually spewing because I didn't enter into the one in Perth coming up on Thursday.
Okay.
So at the time of you guys listening, it's currently the second round in this event. It's over in Royal Freo,
Okay.
right? And I didn't enter it because the few events that I've actually entered in the next, 6 to 8 weeks are pretty full. They're pretty full. So it's going to take a little bit of withdrawals and stuff and me to be on the reserve list for me to get into it.
Correct.
So I didn't bother with this Perth one. And I'm like, one, dog, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, too many things happening.
It's in Perth too.
And it's in Perth as well. I checked the entry list and I would have been like number 110 out of 144. So I would have been in straight away.
Like that.
Like straight away. So I'm like, fuck. So I should have just entered because I text one of my mates going, "Oi, do you want to play Heritage on Wednesday?" He goes, "No, I'm playing in Perth." I'm like, my rank would have been just higher than
Is that
yours.
Steno?
Yeah, Steno.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was ranked like 12. I'm ranked 7 or 6 or something
Yeah.
like that. So I'm like, fuck. I'm like, we
Yeah.
could have gone over together. So I'm a bit annoyed at that, but
Oh, well.
no, I can't complain. What do
That's
you
it.
do?
There's going to be plenty more
There's
opportunities, I'm
few
sure,
more.
mate.
Anyway.
Plenty.
And you?
Yeah, so my recent round was on Saturday. I had 32 points, playing off 7 or so. Didn't really have the greatest day off the tee, which is strange.
Strange is since of recent too.
Yeah, so the last sort of 2 to 3 rounds, drivers really struggled and tee shots have really struggled. And I think it's just that end of summer holidays, like just bodies knackered. Everything's just, and we've mentioned it before in the past where you can sort of overcoach yourself and get yourself into bad habits.
Yeah.
I think I'm sort of just there.
Yeah.
So going back to work today at the time of recording was almost a blessing in disguise because I'm like, sweet, I'm not touching a golf club till Thursday. I'm going to throw heaps of darts between now and then and just have a good time doing that. And then Thursday, me and SGM are going to get back on it and just start working.
Good. That's what my old man's doing as well. Old man found the same thing.
Yeah. So
over the festive season, you sort of overthink things. And
I never thought the day would come where I walk off a golf course thinking I'm kind of excited to go back to work on Monday because it's just like
clear your mind a bit though.
Yeah, I've cleared my mind heaps. I'm really in a good spot with that. Golf, I've had a great time. Like we've played Eastern, I've played PK a couple of times.
Oh.
We'll get into that in a sec.
We'll touch on that. Yeah.
Played heaps at Berg and the boys have been awesome. Everyone's on holidays. It's just that perfect time of year. No one's gone away. Like SGM went away for a few days, but that was it. Really only missed one round. So I'm kind of just like, all right, it's the blur that we've spoken about, period that we've just come out of. And I'm like, fuck, well, now I can get back into work, knuckle down, and then just keep keep the blinkers on and just
Speaking of that blur, today's probably finally the only day in the last 3 weeks I actually know what day it is.
No, you said that last week as well
did I?
because it's Pod Day Mondays.
Oh, facts.
Yeah.
But that was the only.
That was it. So since last Monday, you got no idea what's going on.
No idea. No, so now it starts. Now we're good. We're off. Anyway.
But I wanted to have a chat because the last couple of weeks you may have heard that I've been really struggling with my putting recently. And it's one of those things, I never really practiced putting all that much. It's just kind of like a rock up, hit 15 to 30 putts on the putting green before a round, get the gauge of the speed and go out there and have a bash. Yeah. And I'm reasonably okay. Like I play off a decent mid-hand, like single handicap digit. So I can get myself around a green. Yeah. Right. I'm pretty confident in that. I've classified myself as a decent amateur green reader. Right. Better than most in some cases. But speed's always been my problem.
Yeah.
And I've had a pretty dialed routine, but not a dialed stroke.
Yeah, you've always been able to put the ball on line. Like that black line that you put on the ball always rolls end over end.
Yeah.
It always does. I've noticed that a lot from you, but sometimes it's like, whoa, that's 3 feet short. I'm like, oh no, he's munched that. Like,
yeah, correct.
It's weird. It's like you almost fall in love with the line a little bit. But
so on Thursday, I played PK with Mitch and Raptor. And
again?
Yes.
Oh, double invite.
Yes,
You
correct.
behaved yourself very well the last time, so
Yes.
you deserve the invite back.
I don't think I'm getting one now.
Nope. No, I'm kidding.
And we played the South course and it was great. And the putting was a little bit better than it had been because me and Mitch played the day before at Berg and the putting was atrocious. Gross. Disgusting. Like, ugh. Right? And it wasn't so much that I had a stack of putts, which, yeah, all right, I think I had like 38 putts, which is a lot.
Yeah, it's heaps.
But it's not as many as I've seen in the past.
Oh, of course.
It's just, it was the variation. So, like you said, I'd leave one 10 feet short and the next one would be 10 feet long. And there was just no understanding of how far a 10-foot putt was. No idea.
Okay, yeah.
Fast forward to PK, just managed, I chopped it at PK, like it wasn't the greatest. Had a great time nonetheless and putted a little bit better. It was the only thing I wanted to do. I just wanted to putt better than I did yesterday. And I did. It wasn't my much, but I did.
But
And then fast forward to Friday, I decided, fuck this. I'm not going to sit at home on the couch all day. I'm going to go to Berg. I'm going to get myself some balls, take my shag bag. I'm going to go putt. I'm going to try and fucking figure this out. And I'm on the putting green and I'm having a just chat to the few of the boys, the updates on the cricket scores and whatever else. And one of the lads who I see every time I'm there, his name's Dave. He's a legend, plays off 3 or 4, right? But he's the self-professed worst putter at the golf club, right? He's got 4 or 5 lab putters, a couple of broomsticks, just fucks with everything.
Oh, God.
Right? And he will tell you this flat out himself. He's not a confident putter in the slightest. And we were just chatting and he's like, oh, you playing today? And I said, no. And he goes, oh, so you're just practicing? I said, yep. He's like, what are you working on? I said, putting. Can't putt for shit. And he goes, all right. And all he did was stand directly behind me and watch my stroke. And he goes, do you know how out of line you are? Like how misaligned you are? And I was like, I know I always sort of aim a little bit further right and I kind of sweep across my feet a little bit with putter. And he goes, no, this is bad. Like this has gotten really bad. Like you might do it a bit and I've noticed you've done it a little bit in the past because I've played with him in the past. But now it's bad. And he turns to me and he goes, look, when you approach a golf shot out on the golf course, do you lay the club down behind the ball, standing off on a bit of an angle, line the club head up, and then take your stance into the shot without moving the club head? And I said, yeah, I do. And he goes, do that with putter.
Yeah,
That's
same routine.
all he said.
Same routine. Yeah.
That's all he said. And I'm like, okay. And he showed me what he was talking about just to clarify. I was like, all right, sweet, I'm all over it. Did it.
Just improve the routine a little bit.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Everything's on plane and the stroke's pure and that ball starts going end over end again.
Okay.
And everything's out the middle.
It's a good start.
Right? And like he hung around for another 10 minutes because he had some time before his tee time and just watched me putt. And he goes, dude, it's so much better.
Yeah.
He goes, just that's all I'm going to tell you. Take that and go figure it out.
Yeah, maybe it's just a Band-Aid for now.
Just a Band-Aid for now. And I'll show you, we'll go out in the hallway later on and I'll show you what I'm working on.
We'll have a look.
And we'll just have a suss. But oh my God.
Oh, it's a good little it's a good little start. Just to be like, okay, well, you need something to focus on.
It was one of these.
Yeah, you just need something to focus on.
The dispersion and everything just went. Everything was just like narrowed in.
I'm trying to think because when you said you set up and you aim too far right and then pull it,
yeah,
just me picturing your stroke now, it's the exact opposite.
You reckon?
Yeah, because it's sort of like what we're doing with short game. You aim way left, you take it out and then drop it in and push it.
Well, possibly.
I reckon it's that. Like I'm trying to picture it.
Whatever
now.
it was at the time on Friday when he
whatever it was wrong.
Correct. At the time on Friday when Dave pointed it out, that's what he'd seen, and I trust Dave. He'd gotten down to like low scratch numbers before. He's a very accomplished like amateur golfer. I'll take advice from him any day of the month. Right, putting, right. Like I said, you still observe, and I'll take advice from anyone, right? Yeah. We played with a bloke called John on the Wednesday when I had a stinker, and he plays off 17, and he was still giving me. He's like, I notice you do this. He's like, if I can give you some advice, I notice you do this. And I was like, all right, I'll take it on. Whether or not I put it into practice is a whole nother thing. But I'm happy to listen to anyone.
Maybe have something to think about.
Correct, because it might just. I've said it before. I learn off everybody, so I'm not going to discredit anyone by just saying, "Oh fuck, you play off 22." I'm not listening to you.
Not listening to you exactly. Yeah.
Right, because they might say something
that kind of clicks.
That goes, oh shit, that works.
Yeah, you're kind of right.
I like it, right? Yeah. And I've made examples before in the past where that's happened.
Yeah.
Fast forward again to Saturday, and this is a long recent rant. So I apologize. Put that into practice. What David told me the day before. I probably spent another hour after I spoke to him on the putting green, just dialing that in and trying to figure out how my routine would encompass that as well.
It's just a good start, just to even.
Oh my God, Joel, the difference, the fucking difference.
Yeah.
I think I had 29 putts on Saturday.
Yeah, that's good.
Right, that's 30 putts maybe.
That's good.
But the confidence.
Yeah.
I drained on 16. I tug driver left. Tug driver left, put in the hazard, hit a chipped shot out onto the fairway, hit a wedge long to like the edge of the green, right? And drained a 20-footer for 4. That was just end over end, left to right, always in middle of the hole.
Yeah.
Everything was like middle of the hole.
Yeah.
And the confidence that just instilled in me with the flat stick in my hand is the most confident I've felt in the last 6 to 7 weeks with that club in my hand.
I notice it with myself a lot. I have very specific and particular routines, even with different clubs. Like I find I approach hitting a 6-iron different to hitting the 7-iron.
Yeah,
like it differs always depending on the shot in the club. But the one that sort of changes feeling wise the most, probably looks the same, it probably takes the same amount of time each time, but is putter.
Yeah.
Putter, like for some reason, like the hands might feel slightly different or I do something slightly different, and it's like more of a superstition because on one day you might be having this little feeling in your fucking left leg right? And you start holing everything. So you try and do that and replicate it the next round.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't always work. So you need that like 2 or 3 steps before you even hit the putt or set up to the putt that needs to be the same. It has to be.
Of course.
It has to be. So it's like I take the same amount of time reading the putt. I take the same amount of time lining the putt up. I put the ball in the same spot in my stance every time,
Yep.
and I address it and hold it the same. That's always the same. Whether I'm feeling confident with hitting a putt firm or soft, I don't like that.
Yep.
That just happens on the day. That just depends. But you always need to stick to something.
Yeah.
Like just this little 3-step routine before you approach the shot every time. It needs to be the same every time because then it's a comfort thing. Like it has to be the same.
It has to be. And admittedly, right, this little tweak that David suggested to me was very different to what I'm currently used to.
Yeah.
Right? So if you've seen me putt, you've seen my routine. It's the same. It has not changed in the slightest, right? You know my putting routine pretty well. To add this little step to where I'm like lining the putter head up to the line of the ball and then stepping into my stance after that, I'm not taking practice swings after I do that. Once I'm there, I'm hitting the shot.
See,
so then I'm trying to fit in practice swings before that. I'm standing behind the ball, looking directly like in line, and I'm swinging like I just spent the whole day Saturday figuring out how I can adapt this little entry point into the ball into a routine that felt comfortable.
Yeah.
And it's not the same that it has been. It's completely different to what you might see and what you might remember. But I think I've got something to really work on. It's a
good.
foundation that I've laid.
I actually kind of. I'm not going to say I disagree. But I don't think you have something to work on.
Okay.
Like you won't be able to go to the putting green right now and know what to work on.
No,
like
not
a
necessarily.
routine is not what you work on.
No, correct. It's not necessarily a routine. I need to still iron out what the routine would be, and I've got that. But I've got that little trigger to always know that when I line myself up to the ball,
You know you're at the right spot.
I know I'm. I'm online.
That's a perfect start.
That's what I mean. Where I've got the perfect start.
That's a perfect
where
start.
that action fits into my routine and whatever the new routine might be, or if it's the old one that I adapt into it, whatever it might be. That's still for me to figure out.
That's step 2, 3, 4, and 99. That's
Correct.
That's like this is step 1 in terms of establishing something that feels, like I said, feels comfortable and feels the same and is repeatable.
He's so repeatable.
He's repeatable. So you go into it going, okay, this is the same.
Yep.
And then you could even do that tomorrow. Like you go out and play tomorrow. Your
I know
routine's
exactly
the same.
what I'm doing.
Yeah, but you stand up over the ball and then you're still like, okay, I don't know how hard to hit it, but the routine and I know I'm aligned properly, but I don't know the speeds yet. I don't know how to hit it yet. Like that's next step.
I'll just explain it. I may as well just quickly. My routine previous to these changes was to line the ball up, do all that kind of stuff, read the greens, whatever.
Yeah.
I would then stand side on, like almost as if I'm addressing the ball, but I'd stand like a step away from the ball and do my practice swings. I'd do 4 or 5 generally based on how confident I am. Then I'd just literally take 2 little steps into the ball.
You saying your practice swings is going to branch onto what I'm going to say next. Keep
Right.
going.
I take 2 little steps into the ball. I have a couple of looks at the hole, and then I'm taking the putter away to hit it. Now, because I'm leading into the club or into the ball this new way, and I'll show you after we record, I don't have space or time to actually do practice swings because that part of the routine is gone. So now I'm kind of placing the ball down in line where I want it to. I then walk behind the golf ball. I'm looking in, like I'm standing chest onto the golf ball in line with the hole.
Yeah.
And then I'm like looking at the hole, doing practice swings while I'm doing that. And then I walk into the shot and do this new thing that Dave showed me.
Yeah.
And then I'm taking the club head away to hit the putt.
So my observation already in my head, I'm just going through your routine now, just based off of what I've visually seen every time we play golf, is your practice swings I love. I love the motion of it because it's very flowy. The putter head moves like through where the ball would be, your putter head moves through that and you're back and forth, but you're not thinking about hitting the ball.
No.
What I've noticed, when you're at your worst with putting, the backstroke is the same, but your club head stops as it makes contact with the ball.
Yeah, it gets jabby.
Not even jabby. Jabby is when you get from the back of gets to the top of your backswing and then you hit it from there instead of letting it drop into the ball. It's like I fall into that trap as well of just stopping as I hit the ball.
I've got this problem with
Rather
my
than-
full swing as well.
Yeah, where your swing stops when you've hit the ball.
Yeah.
And then it's who knows what happens from there. It's like a weird release point thing. And speaking of that, when you say you took advice from Dave, this little setup thing, I played. Speaking of funny enough, played a pro-am. I think it would have been October or something like
Yeah.
that. Oh, September, October might have been. Oh, it was the Wagga Wagga pro-am.
Okay.
And I played with an older guy. He played off about 28.
Yeah.
Right. And I hit this one particular shot into this par 5, and it was the best shot I hit all day.
Yep.
I actually pulled driver way left and hit this great shot onto the. And I started speaking to myself, going, "Oh, that felt better. There you go." But in my head, I'm like, I have no idea what I did different. That felt the same. Like I don't know what I did. And he goes, and this translated into my putting for the rest of the day, and I actually putted better. But he goes, "Oh, I noticed your hands were like a lot further forward after impact." Right, it was an observation. He had no idea what that meant.
Yeah.
But he goes, your hands were further forward past the ball. I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, why did I do that? What was that? I'm thinking, fuck, I just committed. I just released.
Yeah.
I just followed through.
Yeah.
I actually hit the fucking golf ball instead of going,
Yeah.
and then just expecting it to, and then he goes, yeah, your hands just were further forward.
And
I'm like, no fucking shit.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm standing on the putting green, like I go to hit a putt and I'm like, boom. And I hit through the putt and it rolls mint and I hole like a 20-footer or 15-footer. I'm like,
it just goes to show, and
Like,
it
it's
speaks
just
it speaks to the notion of don't be afraid to take advice or just to take on words.
Not
right?
don't take advice. Dude, I don't think you should ever take advice from someone and implement it straight away just because they've told you you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, correct.
You got to understand what that advice is going to do to
Yeah.
you. So
But
for
definitely don't write somebody off just because they play off a higher number.
correct. This
And
guy-
be willing to take advice from anyone, and if it clicks and it makes sense and you can implement it, go for it.
This guy played off 28. He set up to the right of the fairway and hit pull cuts that went 130.
Yeah.
Right? And then hit draws with irons. It was fucking bizarre.
Yeah, right.
But played off 28. Like,
But just
playing off
loves it.
28, you can still get around a golf course, but you shouldn't be telling people how to play golf. That's
not really.
But that goes to show, like you said, he played off 28 and he's telling someone that
He's telling
is
a
at
professional.
level. Yeah.
Telling a
he's telling
professional.
a pro how to like just something I did differently.
Everyone's
It was
got
just-
eyes.
It was just an observation.
Everyone's got eyes. Everyone can see what you're doing.
and-
And if they can see it to that level is really difficult to actually pick out as well.
But
right?
it was just a little thing that he sort of goes, "Oh, your hands were further forward. Why'd you do that?" Like he was asking me, "Why were your hands?" I'm like,
I don't know.
"Oh," and I'm like, "Oh, kind of." Yeah, okay.
It makes sense.
It's kind of in my head. I'm like, I broke it down a little bit, and I just sort of like, I'm like, Joe, just fucking hit the ball.
Yeah.
just hit
We
the
are
golf
we
ball.
are our
Anyway,
own we are our
was
own
just- it was
biggest critics.
bizarre. It was
We are
bizarre.
our own biggest critics in this sport. And sometimes, like I said, you least expect the advice to come from certain people.
Yeah.
I would never have expected the self-professed worst putter in the golf club to give me putting advice that's all of a sudden just made my mind go
It's
boom.
not it.
All of a sudden,
You know
it's
what
not
I don't
even.
think it
It's
is?
just an alignment trigger that helps me just be online to where I've lined the ball up, and it just gives me confidence to know I don't need to do anything special with this putting stroke. I just need to hit it online at a decent. It's online. It's online.
You know what I don't? You know what I don't even think it is. He hasn't given you putting advice. He's just told you it's like. And
Do
like you
this,
said,
do this,
everyone-
and you'll be online.
Everyone has eyes.
Yeah.
He said, "Yo, you're aiming way right."
Yeah.
And like someone that doesn't play golf could have said, "Oh, the line's there, but you're aiming there."
Yeah.
Like they could have said, "You're aiming a long
Yeah.
way right." Like someone that doesn't play golf. So that's a good thing. Like putting advice is a weird one because if he said, "Oh, your stroke gets to here, it needs to get to here," blah blah blah.
And at that point, I would have, and I've been
That's
in,
when you-
I've been in those conversations with Dave in particular, and he's turned around and said, "I think you're doing this and that and this and that," and I've gone, "Dave, it's at this point that we stop this conversation."
yeah.
Because I don't want to take putting advice about stroke and from anyone that I don't really trust.
Well, not
I
even
like
that.
Dave; he's a fantastic bloke, and I do trust his advice. However, there are certain limits to what I'll accept.
Yeah.
Right. And when someone tries to tell me radical changes that I should be making,
yeah.
it's at that point where I go, it doesn't matter. You could do it. You could fucking do it.
But that has to come from somewhere where it's explained and it's demonstrated properly. Like if
you had
fucking
no
Tiger
idea-
Woods came and said you need to do this with your stroke, go and do it, and you went onto the putting green and you didn't know how to implement it because he hasn't told you.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, you don't know what you're fucking talking about.
Correct.
Like it has to be explained properly.
And it has to make sense to you.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to be comfortable enough to make those changes.
Yeah.
So, number one, don't write people off because
No.
anybody can give you advice. Anybody can teach you anything about anything.
Yeah.
Right. Number two.
No.
make-
Number one A
number one
is
A.
on the back of that.
Number
is-
one B is
if
make
someone
sure
does give you advice, you have to know how to implement it.
you don't have to, and you also don't have to implement it.
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. It's just an
Just be
observation.
respectful and just say, I appreciate that. Thank you for taking the time out to tell me that.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if it makes sense to me and I might try and implement it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And your next lesson, mention it to the pro you go see.
Correct.
Mention it to the coach. Hey, someone said this once, and I want to know if this is legit. I've implemented it. It does or doesn't work. Whatever the fuck it may be.
I can or can't wrap my head around it. What do you think?
What does it mean? Anyway,
that was my putting expedition over the last sort of 3 to 6.
I putted like a fuckwit yesterday too.
Yeah.
Putted like a fuckwit. And you know what the worst one was? I'd like changed little things here. Not changed, but like tried to adjust little things here and there. I noticed I was hitting a lot. I was pulling it a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm like, cool. I'll just move it a fucking dish much back in my stance because it's going to start along the line a bit better. It's not going to go left. And I missed the fucking cup by this much on the right. I just pushed it.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's going to be fucked. I'm just going to hit it.
Yeah.
So I didn't even light it up. I just hit it.
So I know the topic. Oh, sorry, the title of this podcast episode:
Putt for dough.
putting. Just one word.
Just putting.
Putting.
Nah, putt for dough.
Putt for dough. Yeah, that's actually I don't mind that.
Putt for dough.
Now,
What do you mean today?
I don't mind at all.
You brought up a topic earlier
I sent you a video
that
is
Yeah.
interesting as all shit. And we've discussed it before in the past, and I wanted to sort of branch on it because the age-old question
I've got a couple stats
for
in
a
my
long-
head fresh
for a long time that everybody has asked,
Yeah.
and it's whether it's what would X player shoot around my golf course, or I wonder what X player's handicap is. And I sent you a video, and you watched it recently, where the USGA and Golf Digest dug through some rounds of some professional golfers, top level, best in the world professional golfers,
Yeah.
and based on their last 20 rounds, figured out what their handicaps would be. And to rattle off a couple of numbers just off the top of my head, I think Rory McIlroy's was sitting at like plus 8.7.
Yeah, so it was
And we'll get
Rory,
in-
Bryson, Nelly,
Scotty Scheffler and
Scotty, and Colin Morikawa.
No, Xander Schauffele.
Xander, sorry, yeah.
so like Rory's was like 8.7, Bryson's was plus 8.5,
Yeah.
Nelly Quarters was plus 9.8, right? And we'll get into why these are so exponentially high in a second. Scotty's was plus 8.9 and Xander's was plus 8.8. And these are top caliber golfers.
These are the best golfers on the planet.
And the reason why they're so high, Joel, and you might think, they only shoot 3, 4, 5, 6 under par. How are they then getting plus 10 handicaps, plus 8 handicaps? And the reason is the difficulty of the golf course.
Well, no shit.
Correct. So a lot of these golf courses that they're playing at are the best in the world for reasons.
By scores,
Yeah.
the lowest handicap, if you just went from par 72, raw par 72
Yeah.
to the scoring average, the lowest handicap last season was Scotty Scheffler at about plus 4.
Yeah.
Plus 3.5 to plus 4. What was his scoring average? It was like 68 and
It was 68 and a half or something.
just under 68 and a half. So that's just over
And he
plus
came
3
like,
point.
here's the stat. He came like 8th all time on
Yeah,
PG's.
lowest.
Yeah. Lowest scoring average in PGA Tour history, and the top 7 are Tiger Woods.
Yeah. All the best 7 are Tiger. All the 7 of them. But yeah, so Scotty would be by raw 72 with every score he shot.
Yeah.
It's a bit
Scratch
rougher than that.
ratings.
It's a bit rougher than that. But yeah, according to the scratch, but that makes sense because if he's shooting on average a 68, 68 and a bit, somewhere around there.
At these scratch rating
at-
72 golf courses.
Yeah, at a course that was rated 72, yeah, he's playing off plus 3 and a bit, plus 4 maybe.
Yeah.
Right? And people are like, it's not all that crash shot, right? For a tour pro. However, the golf courses they play on and the difficulty of these places, the scratch ratings all of a sudden go from 72 to 76, 77, 78,
Yep.
which are 6 shots harder, 4 to 6 shots harder.
And
so
for those
if you add plus 3.5 to plus 4 onto another 4 shots harder, golf course 5 shots harder, there's your plus 9.
And for those people who might not be too inclined with the handicap system and what we mean by scratch rating, the scratch rating, for lack of a better term, and I might have this incorrect as well, is the number that you would expect a regular scratch golfer to shoot at that golf course.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
someone who plays off 0.0 goes out and plays Torrey Pines, they would be expected to play to their handicap and or play and shoot 78.
For them to shoot 36 points, they would have to have 5-6 over par,
Correct.
something like
So
that.
when you
It's
hear
something like that.
hear a golf course has a scratch rating of 74, that means that for the average golfer, they're going out and shooting 2 over par at that golf course.
yeah,
If
for
the
your
scratch rating
yeah.
is 69,
yeah,
they're going
it's
to shoot
easier.
3 under.
It's rated easier.
It's an easier golf
Well,
course.
not going to, but that's how it's expected.
It's an expectation, right?
Yeah, based off. Well, here's another thing. Your handicap
Yes.
So everyone's handicap, if like I said, if I say I play off +5, they're like, fuck, you shoot 67 every time. No. My
40%
last
of the
20
time.
rounds, I've beaten my handicap 4 times.
Yeah.
And out of those 8 rounds, my 8 best rounds equals that +5.3 or whatever the fuck it is. My 8 best rounds equal that. So there's 4 that are actually worse than that, and there's 4 that are slightly better, and that's where that average comes out.
Correct.
The other 12 might be a couple of rounds square, maybe 1 or 2 over, and there's a couple 1 or 2 unders, but they're not good enough to reach that top 8. So if you check your handicap history now, for those that are listening, you'll find that you've beaten your actual handicap 3, maybe 4 times.
I've just pulled mine up.
3, maybe 4 times in 20 rounds.
In the last 20 rounds, I've beaten my handicap twice. Right?
There you go. That's why you've gone out.
I've gone out.
That's why you've gone out.
I've gone out. My handicap's
haven't
currently
beaten it
sitting.
enough.
Correct. My handicap's currently sitting at like 7.1.
Yep.
So it has gone out a little bit, which is fine. I don't care. I'm not upset at all. But the other 6 times that are flagged rounds are like 34, 35 pointers. Like they're in and around what I would be expected to shoot.
They're close.
But they're not crash hot.
No, they're not good enough to maintain a lower handicap.
I had 2 rounds on back-to-back days where I had 37 points. And that was it.
Yeah.
They're the 2 best rounds that I've beaten my handicap in the last 20 rounds, which goes back to, I'm telling you now, the 5th of October.
Yeah, wow.
So it's been a troublesome few months.
You want to hear something fucked up?
We're battling. We discussed this last week. I know exactly what you're going to say.
Did we do it on the pod, or just mentioned
did
it to
on
you?
it on the pod.
Did we do it on the pod? Did we?
I listened to it the other day. We did it on the pod. You had like 3 or 4 rounds, 6 or 7 rounds in a row where you were like a few shots under par, and then you had 1 round that was even, and you went out by a shot.
So, yeah, I've gone from since what day is it? What day was it? Since 30th of October. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of my 8 rounds have been 68 or better.
Yeah.
And I've gone out a shot.
Yeah.
It's a weird, but that's the thing. I had like that. There was 2 rounds in a row where I had a +7.8 and like a +8.6 or something.
Yeah.
That dropped off, and
Yeah.
like I'm having to shoot 10 under to beat it. Like that, the handicap system expects me to maintain my handicap. I have to beat that, but I wasn't able to. I shot like maybe 5 or 6 under, and I still go out.
Yeah,
But,
correct.
What do you do?
And going back to what we were discussing before with these pro golfers and the handicaps that they would have,
Yeah.
the difference in the levels are that, yes, they're playing these golf courses that are scratch ratings of 75, 76, 77, 78, but they're still shooting 6 or 7 under par.
Not every time.
Not every time, but more often than not. And you look at someone like Nelly Corder, who went on a run in the last sort of 6 to 8 months. She won event after event after event, which means she would have had low score after low score with maybe a little 2 under to just like settle the ship, right? Just to sort of like get a cruiser through a difficult 3rd round in the wind, right? And like she's winning.
Bit of food poisoning.
Correct. Or, Scotty winds up in jail and still shoots 5 under. So like there are levels to this shit. So just because you see a plus handicap golfer at your golf course, someone like yourself or someone like Ben Murphy who shoots 57 at PK North, like good, like that's unbelievable. But the expectation is still not there to do that every single time.
Because 1, it's human error, and 2, golf is. If golf was a person, they would be such an asshole.
Here's the thing, right?
They would be schizophrenic.
Do you know what 8 out of 20 is in a percentage?
8 out of 20.
40%.
Is that 40%? Yeah.
So the RNA, the USGA, Golf Australia, whoever is in charge, the World Handicap System, still doesn't trust you enough to shoot to your handicap 50% of the time.
Yeah, true. True. Yeah.
That's how difficult this sport is.
Exactly.
The people who write the rules don't trust you enough to play your standard of golf half the time that you play.
I went through, so before, this was at the December 1. I like keeping track of like the handicaps and stuff like that.
You said that last week as well.
More or less than scores. It's
a form guide.
I just like to see what I'm doing and if I'm on a trend or not, right? Anyway, December 1, I did my last 50 rounds or something, or last 40 rounds or something like that. Anyway, and I went through it, and based off the scratch ratings, or the par of the day, and the scores I had, instead of being +5.3 or something like that, I would only play off like just over +3. It was like +3.2 or something like that, which I was actually quite pleased with. That means my average score was around that 69, 69 and a half,
Yeah.
maybe 70 on a tougher golf course sort of thing. And I was very pleased with that. I didn't think it was actually there. I thought it was plus 1.5, plus 2 sort of thing. I didn't feel like I shot that lower scores.
No.
Right. And that made me feel a bit better. But that's what handicap system does. It's sort of someone goes, I play off 3. It's like, and they go, yeah, but I've shot under par once. It's like, but yeah, you play off 3, so you should be shooting. That's like the weird expectation. You should be shooting mid-70s every time. Surely you've copped a heater and shot 70 a couple of times. Surely,
Yeah, correct.
Like, it's a weird blindfold on people that if the person playing off 3, if they beat 3, they've had an unbelievable day. They'll do that 1 in 5 times.
Yeah.
The other 2, maybe once they'll shoot their handicap, and the other 3 times they're not beating it.
No, correct.
It's like it's weird. It's a weird illusion, but I'd love to see the handicap system change a little bit and be a bit more realistic relative to scores.
Okay.
Like I would love to see it relative to the scratch ratings make a lot of sense, but rather than difficulties of the day, rather than as opposed to comparing it to everyone else in the field, like fuck that. Like do it relative to yourself. It's an individual sport as it is. So like do just your scratch rating and scores.
Yeah.
It's simple as that.
Yeah.
Like don't put all this other difficulty shit just to make it fair.
Yeah.
Like because golf's not fucking fair, but they put it in relation to the competition aspect of it.
Correct.
But if you look at your comp results from your recent club, you'll find that not even 10% of those people have beaten their handicap. If you have 220 in the field, 20 of them have beaten their handicap or shot better or shot that or better, and the other 200 haven't beaten their handicap.
Yeah, correct. And yeah. But there are some days, mate, I don't know, some people cheat, I reckon, because there are some days I'll look through the scores on a Saturday and go, fuck, 36 points get you 90th position. Like, how are so many?
Yeah, almost.
You know what I mean? Like, how does that work in a competition?
But have you noticed that it's not always the same people? You might find a couple of weeks in a row someone's gone 39, 40 and they've had a couple of good weeks.
Yeah.
Right. But like when you had 46 points playing off 8, you shot 2 under. They're looking at this going, this guy plays off 8 and he had 2 under.
Yeah. I had a heater.
I'm like, they go, that must be a mistake. That's like how you see it. Someone playing off 21 has 49 points. And they're like, they're playing off 21.
Well, one of Marcus's students recently had 51 points.
Maxi Hendo.
Max, right?
What?
Shoots 51 points
points.
playing off 22.
No, it was 29.
29. Then drops probably what would have been 2.5, 3 shots overnight.
It would have been more. I think it was a couple more than that.
Right? Rocks up the next day and shoots has another 40
Has
pointer.
40 points, yeah. Yeah. That's the good thing about the handicap system. It will humble you fucking quick.
Correct. And I completely, like, it's two absolutely
Will humble you
absolute
quickly.
heaters of rounds.
Yeah.
But I will put my hand up, and when Raptor, and I'll admit that when Raptor put those scores in the group chat that we've all got, the longest day group chat that we had, I straight away said, he's cheating. Like, Max, well done, mate. Like, those are unreal rounds. And I know you didn't, but it was just the first thought that came to my head. I'm like, who's this bloke?
He's cheating. He's cheated.
No one does that. You
He's
know what
cheated.
I mean?
No, I saw him and I saw him that day.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
What happened?
mate, what a score. He goes, yeah. And I'm like, what do you mean, just yeah? you've had 51 points, dog. I'm like,
He was 2 over through the front 9.
Someone's
playing
come
off
in,
29.
Someone's come in with 44 and you've pipped him by 7. You've pipped him by 7.
How fucking pissy would you be being that person of 44?
But here's the thing. That's like people will like roll their eyes going, oh, some 24 handicapper has come in with 45 points, right? And it is easier for someone playing off 25 to have 45 than it is like for yourself or myself.
Oh, 100%.
Like for me to shoot 36 points, I'm having to play some good golf.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having to shoot 5 under, right? Which is good golf on any golf course.
I think that the general perspective would be that if you're playing off a handicap of, let's say, 13 or less, to have 36 points, it's a pretty good round of golf.
You play good golf.
It's pretty good.
You've played good golf.
By what you and I would consider a good round of golf.
Yeah.
Right? So what's that, mid to high 80s? Right? If you're having 36 points, that's pretty decent.
I've always said to people, if you can get to 33 or better, if you've had 33 points or better, you've played a decent round of golf.
Yeah.
Like everyone has human error. You're not a tour pro. You're not a plus marker. You're not someone that can go through a whole round without making a big blunder.
Yep.
Right? You're not that sort of golfer because 1, you might only play once a week, or 2, you might not be playing for long enough, or whatever it may be, or you don't care enough. You don't practice, whatever it might be. But if you can get to 33 or better, you will maintain your standard of golf pretty well.
Oh, 100%.
Because you're always going to have that 38. Bang, 38 there, the handicap drops a tiny bit. And you have a couple 33s, 34, 35s, and that sort of maintains it, and there you go, you're off.
That's it.
But the people that fluctuate a lot have their 39s 3 weeks in a row and then have like 4 straight where they don't break 28.
Yeah.
And then it just goes, wee, wee. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird. It's weird.
It's such a difficult sport. It's such
bizarre.
Bizarre's a great word for it. She's a prick of a game.
Yeah. The handicap system is implemented to make it a fair ball game for competition rounds. That's where it is.
The system still only expects you to play to your level
Correct.
40% of the time.
Like I said, when people roll their eyes saying that some 34 handicap had 46 points, they go, they've actually played amazing relative to their handicap.
Yeah.
If someone playing off 11 had 46 points,
And I think
they've
people
played the same. They've played as good to their handicap as the 34 handicapper did.
Yeah.
But it's just projected a little bit differently.
The one thing, and this is the last thing I say about it, right? The one thing I hear the most, and I'm a big culprit of this, right? When I see those scores come in, someone playing off a high 30s has like 47 points, and you go, fuck, who's this bloke? And the one thing I hear is, yeah, if you gave me 34 shots, I'd have 47 points too, right?
Some guys are like, no, you wouldn't.
And yeah, correct. There'd be some blokes thinking they're like, no, you wouldn't, mate. Like, just come on.
Yeah.
But also, you'd kind of want to. If you gave me, in my current form at the moment, 34 shots,
Yeah.
and I didn't walk off with 46 points,
Yeah.
I'd be real.
I'd
A couple
quit.
days off.
Quit, dog.
It's a couple weeks off.
Quit.
Let's just go throw darts for a bit.
Quit.
I'm sweet.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about that. I would love to play off your handicap for a day.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to
love it.
I wouldn't want to play off yours.
I'd love it. Yeah, play off mine. Or not even. I'm not even saying that like it's like out of this world godly, but it's
I think when
it's
you got to
definitely.
give, but when I've got to give shots back on par threes and and making bogeys,
That's only at Berg though.
yeah, you know what I mean.
Like imagine you stepping up onto a par 5, going even a par like some short par 4s. If I bogey this, I've got no points.
Yeah,
Like
fucked.
I have to birdie this for 2 points or something like that. It's
ridiculous.
It's not all that. It sounds all doom and gloom, but it's.
But again, the
what do you do?
expectations change.
Yeah.
Questions from the second cut. Let's get stuck into it. Now, you have a video to go and watch.
Hang on.
Not even to watch, but you have a little graphic to see,
Let me have a look.
right? And I'll try my best at.
Oh fuck! Have I forgotten my question? Hang on.
Do you want to ask yours if you get it first?
Yeah, hang on. Let me just have a look at this first. What'd you send it on?
I've sent it to the podcast
Here we go.
Instagram.
All right. Oh, I saw this. So
Right. So the question I have for you is
what is actually a ball outside right?
right. So if you're playing golf, right, with your friends or whoever, and someone goes, "What do you think the read is?" Your caddy goes, "What do you think the read is?" And you say it's a ball outside right, right? A ball outside the right edge of the hole. Is that where are you aiming? So the three examples in this video that I've sent to Joel are the right edge of the ball is exactly right edge, like one ball outside right.
So to make that easier, a golf ball is what 1.68 inches
Something,
wide,
yeah.
something like that, or
Something
whatever
like
it is. It's no, I reckon it's more than that.
Anyway, whatever it is, don't get caught up in that.
Oh, that might be about right. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Right. The second option, right, and you kind of have to imagine it as if you've drawn a line in the middle of the golf ball.
Yeah.
The middle of the golf ball in scenario 2 is pointing 1.68 inches away from the hole to the right. The third option is the left edge of the golf ball is lined up 1.68 inches away from the right of the hole, right? Which one of those three would you consider to be aiming one ball outside right? Because Michael and I originally...
Did you have a full punch on about this?
No. This had us fucked.
I think it's all up to interpretation. Like, I think option A, it doesn't even give you a pinpoint of where to. Oh, no, yes, it does. Option 1, I think, is wrong.
So where the right edge of the golf ball. So basically, if you were to put a golf ball on the edge of the hole, right? The golf ball sits exactly. That is one golf ball outside right.
Yeah.
Right? So is it like that? Is it there? Or is it there? You know what I mean?
I based off how I read the green, I'm going option 2.
Okay.
just because like you're hitting the center of the golf ball, so the center of based off maths, option 3 I think is right. Based off maths.
Yeah, I agree.
The way I read a green is because you don't want the ball to just hit the right edge of the hole. You're not lining the ball up, a ball outside right of the right edge. You're aiming a ball outside right relative to the ball falling into the center of the hole. So I'm going option 2.
So if this is how I think of it.
Just because it's the center.
Option 1 is 100% wrong.
Not 100%. No. Because
think
people interpret it differently.
Correct.
But I don't see how option 1 could work.
In my opinion, option 1 is 100% wrong. Because if I hit that putt on that line, it finishes low.
Yeah.
Right? Option 2, because I line the ball up with a line in the middle of the golf ball and I use that, wherever I'm aiming for, the middle of that line goes to the wherever that spot is.
Yeah.
So if you tell me to aim a ball at right edge of the hole, my middle line on the golf ball is going to the right edge. That's why I think option 2 is the most correct, because there's at least a 50% chance, right, that half that golf ball falls in the hole.
Yeah, it depends how you
Based on
interpret it.
perfect speeds.
It depends how you're reading the putt.
Option 3, I think, finishes high.
Option 3 is you reading a ball outside the right edge.
Option 3 is a ball and a half.
To get it to hit the right edge.
So basically, the way I see it is option 1 is half a ball outside right. Option 2 is a ball outside right. And option 3 is a ball and a half outside right.
Correct. That's how I read it. Option 2 for me, yes, because that's based off the maths. But
it's literally
the option
everything
like,
works into the middle of the golf ball.
also looking at this in a bit more detail as well. Is the fact that this ball is aiming on the right edge means this putt's breaking right to left.
Correct.
So I want this ball to finish or enter the right side of the hole. So option 1 leaves me a choice where it's going to miss low. Option 2 goes center. Option 3 might miss high side or whatever.
I think that if you go into that sort of detail where you start thinking about where you want the ball to go into the hole, you go a little bit too far. I think you honestly just need to think, right, what line do you take if you want to aim one ball outside right and that ball finishes in the middle of the hole?
Yeah, I still think it's a loaded question.
It's so
I still
loaded.
think it's a loaded question. It's a complete mindfuck.
But from all accounts,
From just the 3 options, it's 2 for me.
this has got the golfing world fucked. No one can agree on this.
I'm actually looking through comments and profiles right now. There is so many different things, but from all accounts, option 2 wins.
Seems to be the correct.
One.
And I think
like I said, it depends how you word it. If you say one ball away from the right edge, option 3 kind of makes that sense because it's one ball and then your ball sits on the outside edge of that.
Yeah, but it's one ball outside right.
But it's still the center of the hole. Like you're not trying to get the ball to finish on the right edge. You're thinking of it to finish in the middle. Like anyway,
there's a documentary somewhere. It's
crazy. I'm still thinking option 2. I'm option 2.
There's a
That's how I
documentary.
read that.
I think it might be the recent documentary that Sky Sports released about the European Ryder Cup team called Una Familia. Right? And they're on a bus talking to Luke Donald, and the players go, or it might even be the American team. And they go to whoever the captain is, and they say, if you're aiming a ball at left edge, what's aiming at left edge? Is it the either side of the golf ball or the dead middle line? And the captain turns around and says, dead middle line. Has to be.
Yeah.
Because at least that's what you're aiming. That's what
center
that's
of
your
gravity.
That's the center of gravity. It's like that's what you're lining up. It's like if you were to hold a gun up with a sight with a little dot in it, would you hold the center of the dot at your target? Would you hold the left side of the dot at your target?
Yeah.
It's the same idea.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like when I play with people, when I say, oh, it's left center.
Yeah.
They aim the ball like on the left edge.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's left center.
Yeah.
It's not, don't give the hole away. It's not actually breaking that much. No. But you're aiming left center to account for you maybe not hitting the putt hard enough. If you hit the putt hard, it stays left center. It will stay left center, hit left center and go in. If you miss it, if you don't hit it hard enough, it might break that tiny bit, but still catch the hole. Anyway, I think that's slightly up to interpretation of how you read greens.
100%.
But just those 3 options alone, it's option 2 relative to the center of that golf ball because you're not, like I said, you're not hitting the right edge of the ball or left edge. You're not getting the ball to finish and end in the right or left edge of the hole. You're hitting it into the center of the hole.
Yes.
So
I'm glad we agree. I'm glad we agree. Have you got a question for me?
That's just how I read it. Yeah, I had a question, but I'm all fucked up now.
Have you lost it?
I have lost it.
Actually.
I have lost it. But My one was like a. I've sort of got it. It's a would you rather.
Yep.
It's sort of like would you rather. Let's say you play bogey golf. This
Yep.
is a shit question.
Okay.
Let's say you're playing bogey golf.
Yep.
Would you rather hit every green in regulation and 3-putt,
And 3-putt.
or miss every green but never make up and down? So you're always making bogey. The result's the same.
Okay.
But
so,
what's going to frustrate you more? You hit every green,
I-
but you're always 3-putting.
But it's always a chip
Or-
on and 2 putts.
But you're never going to hit the fucking green to save your life. But you're never going to make up and down.
I'd rather chip on and 2-putt
Why's that?
every hole because what if I stuff it?
Huh?
What if I stuff it close? And a 3 jab.
And you've just 3-putted.
Correct.
But what if you hit it? What if
I'd rather be upset because I've missed a green and go, all right, well, I've hit a decent chip there and then 2-putt. But there's also a chance that I stuff a chip shot and 2-putt.
Correct.
But it's still a 2-putt.
It's still a 2-putt.
Two's
But
better than-
you've missed the green. You're never going to hit it in regulation.
Correct. So I'd rather.
But what are you going to be more mad at?
3-putting.
3-putting, or you've just struck it shit?
Nah, 3-putting. Because I strike it shit all the time. But I'm more upset that I 3-putt.
Right. Okay.
I strike it shit
interesting.
all the time. I'm not like ball striking at the moment is not a strength, which
It's
it normally
not.
is.
It usually hit the ball quite solid, like solid enough.
At the moment, it's just I'm in a bit of a
It's
funk.
not that crash hard. Yeah.
But I'd rather have a poor striking day than 3 jab every green.
See, I think.
And
I hate 3-putting as much
there's
as the
no
next brick.
way. Stop. There is no way right now you turn around and say that you'd rather 3-putt every green. No chance.
I'm just trying to think what I would be more
Are you
pissed off with.
fucking for real, Joel?
But I really pride myself on my short game, like my recovery stuff. If I missed every green
But
and
that's not
couldn't
the-
make up
yeah,
and
but
down,
that's not the- that's
I
not
think
the-
I'd snap a wedge.
You
I'd,
reckon?
I'd break something. I pride myself on saving. Like,
So you'd rather-
No. I don't even know if I'd rather any of it. I'd just be less pissed. He's brick. Okay. Let's lock in. Let's lock in.
Quickly, because we gotta go.
No, we don't. Now,
Yes, we do. Yeah, it's coming.
I can smell it.
It's out there.
Oh, Ali just makes some banger dinners. Anyway,
I'm very lucky.
this is where my head is at. It stop laughing at me. So there's this documentary on YouTube, The Perfectionate Pebble, right? Everyone's
Yeah,
seen it.
I've seen it.
It's got 50 million.
Phenomenal.
It's amazing. That Roger Maltby, I think his name was, that
Yeah.
old guy with the mustache.
Yeah.
He said that Tiger Woods gets more out of saving a par than making a birdie.
Agreed.
Right. And I don't know what I'd never really thought about that or been conscious of that within myself, but I feel like I resemble that a little bit as well. Like I
Okay.
love making birdies as much as the next guy. I love making birdies. However, if I'm in the middle of a round and I'm through 8 holes
Joel.
and I've gone birdie, par, birdie, and I've made and I'm 3 under par, and I'm like, shit, I've got a challenging up and down to make here to not save this round, but keep the round going. Right? If I'm unable to make that,
Joel,
I'm more angry.
you're missing the biggest part of your own question.
Nah.
You're a playing of 18 and you're shooting bogey golf,
Oh no, that's a good point.
right? There's no saving par about
that's
it,
a
mate.
good- that's a good point.
You just
He's
rambled
right.
on about nothing for 2 minutes. You're not saving par. You're going out there and you're either going to 3 jab for bogey or you're going to hit a chip shot and 2-putt for bogey.
I lost
on
track.
every hole. This is your question.
I lost track of that.
And
I went
you-
into a rabbit hole then.
You
eh?
did. You dove.
Nah, I'm
head
still
first.
hitting the green in 3
You
putting.
dove head first and came out a quadriplegic.
If I still had the same mindset, regardless of what I played off, if I still played off 18, right, and played
you'd
bogey
still want to
golf,
try and do your best to
I
save
would
par.
I'd still be so upset with myself to not be able to make an up and down.
So you'd rather 3 jab it.
I'd be less frustrated with that.
You're a psycho. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's episode of the
My
Gold
mind
Jacket.
might change. I hate 3-putting as well. I hate everything about it. Fuck that question. Who thought of that?
You did.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Ladies
I'm going to
and
have dinner. Fuck this.
Let's go throw some darts. Ladies and gents, thanks for tuning in for the 48th episode of the Gold Jacket, Green Jacket podcast. We are fast approaching episode number 52. It's going to be on Valentine's Day. Releasing.
Bullshit, is it?
Yeah, 1 year anniversary released on Valentine's Day. I just looked it up before. It's very cute.
So cute. I'm wearing a dress.
Yeah, I reckon you should. let us know what you want to see for our anniversary episode. 1 year of the podcast. It's a big occasion for us. So we are fast thinking of some things we can do. Head over to Spotify, listen to the episode there. Head over to our TikToks and Instagram, watch some videos, drop us a like and some comments. Please, if you're watching this on YouTube, even if you're not, head over to the YouTube, jump down into the description, hit the subscribe button. Please, it does us a massive favor. Other than that, hit them very, very well. Try not to 3-jab every green, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.